what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's dead gentlemen in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served, worship or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali from Ohio. We have Brother Samori Samad from New York. We have Brother Amir from Arizona. We have Sister Daka from New York. We have Brother Brian from Illinois. We have Sister Tanya Holmes from Dallas, Texas. We have Brother Minister Michael Shabazz from Gary. We have Brother Stephen Cowan from Washington State. We have Brother Muhammad Abdul Rashid from Florida. We have Sister Hala Brooks from California. We have Brother Kareem from New Jersey. We have Sister Rebecca from Oregon. We have Brother Mutakabir Ali from New Jersey. And we have Sister Shahara Holmes from Dallas, Texas. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we'd like to talk about Christmas and the messenger of Allah. First we have to start with, this comes from the bus stops, because we got to talk about them. This is them just a couple days ago. It says Jesus was not born December 25th. This is them. Then we got another one. This is Bus Stop Bishop. It says your Christmas tree is Nimrod. And this was them in Houston. Then we got another one. It says Christmas is of the devil. If you disagree, drop a comment. So this is them in Macon. So all over the country now, you got Bishop spreading like they are the ones who originated talking about Christmas. So we want to always start with the messenger, because I want people to understand why I talk about them so much. This comes from the messenger. This is from the Westchester Observer. It says Islam for the so-called Negro. He said, the dawn of a new day has arrived. He said, to seek our place in that which is new, we must have a God. That's what we got to understand in this new school nation of Islam with this hypocrite Louis Eugene. We living in a dawn of a new day. And in the dawn of a new day, to seek our place in it, we must have a God. Then the messenger goes on. He says, Allah God has always provided guides for those who seek to walk in his path. So the only one guide that Allah gave to us is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Just that simple truth alone has been lost in this new school nation of Islam. We lost the fact that we living in the dawn of a new day. Not an old day, but a new day. So all of this stuff that we once believed, we found out that it's not true. So since we found out that it's not true, who is the one who God raised to reveal these hidden truths to us? That's one of the most important things that the black man needs to know in today's world. We need to know who is the person that God raised to give us this divine truth in this dawn of a new day. Yes, sir. That one man is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's right. So we must go on even further with the messenger. He says we should hasten ourselves to the light of truth as we hasten to get ourselves into the light of our day sun. We must learn to be intelligent enough to distinguish between truth and falsehood and seek refuge in the God of truth. That's another very important point. We have to be smart enough or intelligent enough to distinguish between truth and falsehood. Yes. Because just because people say things that are true, that does not mean they are true folk. We got to understand that. Because a lot of people take what the messenger taught us about Christmas and add it to their thing. But we only had one person who Allah raised to guide us in this dawn of a new day. So let's go on even further with what the messenger said. And this is my favorite part to what he said. He says, seek refuge in Allah from the envier when they envy. The success of the messenger and his followers of Islam is envied by the disbelievers. And they are not leaving a stone unturned trying to stop it with falsehood. This was the messenger in 1960. This was before Malcolm turned hypocrite. This was before Wallace. Before all of that. He telling us, seek refuge in Allah from the envier when he envies. The success of the messenger and his followers of Islam. He didn't say the success of the black man. He said the success of the messenger and his followers of Islam is envied by the disbeliever. He said they are not leaving a stone unturned trying to stop it with falsehood. Praise due to Allah. So let's give an example of the messenger before we get into the subject. This comes from the messenger, or this is the June 14th, 1970, Muhammad speaks. And this massive New York Muslim rally, 70,000 in attendance. This was during the time where black people was praising the messenger, white people was praising the messenger, People overseas was praying. Everybody was on the bandwagon for the message. Now, to understand how big this meeting was, if we look at Ford Field where the Lions play football, the mass capacity of Ford Field is 65,000 people. But it says the regular seating capacity is approximately 65,000. But the stadium can be expanded up to 70,000 for football and 80,000 for basketball. The messenger had 70,000 black people in this meeting that they had. It actually was a bazaar in 1974 in New York. Where was a black Hebrew Israelite in 1974? This how much juice the messenger had with the black man in one city. Now, my favorite part of this whole thing is how the messenger had this hypocrite, Louis Eugene, remind the black man. Because we don't remind the black man today. We act like the black man always knew the truth and it comes from everybody. The messenger wasn't like that. Let's look at what he had this hypocrite Louis Eugene say at this rally. He says, but there is a black man in America that time has not destroyed. There is a black man in America who was here in the 30s, here in the 40s, here in the 50s, here in the 60s, and now in the 70s. Elijah Muhammad is still on the scene and going strong. It says, recalling the not too distant past, when many blacks in America believed the propaganda that Muslims taught hate, were violent, anti-white, and anti-Christian, with whom they would not associate. This the message. And that's real important for us today. Because when you look at the messenger when he was alive, when he began to get all of this praise, he constantly reminded the black man how this didn't come from you. Because black people will start embracing the truth so much that it'll start seeming like they always knew it. It would seem like it was never a time where you didn't know that Christmas was pagan. That's why the messenger even reminded Muslims. He said, those of you who know, remember there was a time when you didn't know.
That's right.
Because once we accept the truth, we act like we always knew. So the messenger. And that's why I like all that 1974 accepted stuff. All of them, they used to have dinners for the message. They used to have bazaars for the message. They used to have all this stuff in appreciation for the message. The messenger wouldn't come. He would always send that hypocrite, and he would say the same thing. Just a few in the very short past, y'all wouldn't have been accepting this from me. So then he goes on to say, he says the dynamic Muslim minister pointed to the rows of seats in front of the platform where ambassadors from the United Nations, scholars, scientists, and educated people sat. So this was Lewis. They said, pointing to the rows in the front where you had ambassadors from the United Nations, scholars, scientists, and other educated people sat. He said in the past, most of these honored guests would have been absent, but times have changed. It says UN ambassadors in attendance were from China, Barbados, Morocco, Indonesia, Jamaica, Trinidad, Costa Rica, and Palestinian Liberation Movement. This was the messenger. Constantly letting it know, y'all accepting my truth now. Because in the past, y'all thought I taught hate. Y'all said I was anti-Christian. Y'all said that this stuff that we taught was not good for the black man. But since I'm getting all of this praise from 70,000 people, I want to let it be known. Just a few years ago, all of y'all was rejecting me. That's what we gonna do today. We gonna remind these Israelites who's still in the teachings of the messenger while we talk about Christmas. We can't just talk about Christmas. We gotta remind these thieves back when you didn't know nothing about Christmas was pagan. Right. So we gonna go to 1957 because we want to know how Christmas is pagan. This comes from the 1957 New York Age, and this was a New York black newspaper. They got at the top because they used to have all of the churches in New York used to send in they Merry Christmases and stuff that they wanted the people to hear during Christmas. So this was the Merry Christmas page. On the Merry Christmas page, they had black Hebrew Israelites. Or at that time, they was called black Jews. All the Christian churches saying Merry Christmas and all of that stuff. Then you got what was called the commandment keepers. They said, and this is their little part, it says wishes the community and its friends a very happy Hanukkah, the Feast of Lights, in conjunction with those who say Happy Christmas. This is very important. Yes, it is. Because before the messenger, the Jews and the Christians celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas together. See, we listen to Bus Stop Bishop and them so long, we act like we forgot. Because Hanukkah, I believe, starts on the 21st of December. And Christmas is on the 25th. So the Jews and the Christians, which never was beefing until Bus Stop Bishop and them came on the scene, they all used to just celebrate it together. Y'all come and do some of the Hanukkah stuff, we'll do some of the Christmas stuff. That's how it was before the messenger. This is a picture of Bus Stop Bishop's man who sent out the Merry Christmas and the Happy Hanukkah. His name is Rabbi Matthews. We got to get a history. You see Rabbi Matthews, who is Bus Stop Bishop's man, with this, I think these is the scrolls, the Torah scrolls. You see it's another white Jew with Martin Luther King with these same Torah scrolls. They was practicing Judaism the exact same way the white man was.
That's right.
This is important for us to know.
Yes.
Because we live at the dawn of a new day. And we need, if we want to, when we seek our place in this new day, we gotta choose the man who God chose. Or we, as the messengers say, is fuel for the fire.
That's right.
So this is Rabbi Matthews with his Torah scrolls. I don't know this Jew name, but he with Martin Luther King with the same scrolls. Now let's go to the little children with their small hats on. Then we see them, a group of them. This the teenage brothers, it looked like, with the younger brothers with their small hats and their prayer shawls on. This is very important for us to know. Because the messenger had the little brothers. They was out selling papers too. Praise due to Allah. The messenger had Junior FOI out helping spread his truth that Christmas was pagan. So you got the Junior FOI. This is another picture of Junior FOI selling papers. Now let's go even further than that. Because this was in the December 28th, 1957 New York Age. Let's go to the December 19th, 1958. This is the St. Louis Argus. This brother's name is Minister Clyde X. Because we want to show how in depth or how far the messenger was going with teaching us against Christmas. This was in 1958. Messenger writing articles in all the black newspapers. He got a temple. He got ministers writing articles in the newspapers in their city speaking against Christmas. So this is Brother Clyde X. It says, due to the fact that very soon our people will be celebrating Christmas, which is supposed to be the birth of Jesus. Jesus was not born on the 25th day of December, nor was he even born in the month of December. When you celebrate Christmas, you are celebrating the birthday of a white man by the name of Nimrod, who was the man who captured the city of Nineveh and ruled it for 300 years. In this article that will continue for quite a few weeks, you will read the birth, ministry, and death of Jesus. Jesus was a full-blooded, original black man. This the messenger's ministers. Yes. We need to know this. Yes. We need to know that long before everybody even accepted the fact that Christmas was pagan, the messenger taught us this. Yes. He taught us about Nimrod. Yes. He taught us about the commercialization of Christmas. He taught us about eating hog celebrating Christmas. He taught us about why the hog was made. He taught us about when Jesus was born. All this was taught to us by the messenger. Because when you read this brother article, he says in this article that will continue for quite a few weeks, that's how much he had to teach the black man on Jesus. He let them know it's going to take me a few weeks to continue or to get all this I got to say out about Jesus. So let's go on even further than that. This comes from the December 20th, 1965 Tampa Tribune. It says, Jewish community in Hanukkah rites. This says, while the Christians celebrate Christmas and the decorations of festive lights proclaim the birth of Christ, the Jewish people are observing their time-honored festival of Hanukkah. Many Christians are observing with their Jewish neighbors the dedication ceremony of Hanukkah. Many Jewish families observe Christmas customs. So this the white Jew with their Christian neighbors, one celebrating, they all celebrate a little bit of Hanukkah and they all celebrate a little bit of Christmas. This what was going on before God's messenger. His truth was accepted by the black man. The white Jews and the black Jews, or the white Jews and the white Christians wasn't beefing, nor was the black Jews and the black Christians beefing. Everybody was just celebrating their time together. So let's go to the 1969 now. Let's jump 11 years from this 1958. Let's go to the 1969. Now, why did I choose 1969? I gotta let that be known. Because I chose this 1969 for a reason. In 1969, this was when Abba Bivens, bus stop bishops man, left their thing and started to teach the teachings of the messenger, but with his Jewish spin to it. So that's why I chose 1969. This is Abba Bivens. He is a very important person to know in the history of these IUIC bus stops. He the one who left Rabbi Matthews in 1969 and started adding the messenger's teachings to Judaism. Now let's go to the January 3rd, 1969, Muhammad speaks, to see what was the messenger saying about Christmas when this brother left. This comes from the Muhammad Speaks newspaper called Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. The article I want to start with comes from one of my favorite MGT, Sister Anna Kareem. Because I just showed you a minister of the messenger teaching about Christmas in 1958. The messenger had been teaching about Christmas so long. Now you got college students in the college teaching the black man about Christmas in the college. This was when bus stop Bishop's man Abba Bivens first left them fakes, or them small hats. The messenger had ministers teaching, he was teaching, plus he had students in colleges teaching the black man about Christmas. Now let's look at what Sister Anna was saying about Christmas to show you how all of the students of the messenger had the truth all the same. So this comes from the January 3rd, 1969 Muhammad Speaks. And it comes from the section called Islam and Tuskegee. Sister Anna Kareem says, she says the spirit of Christmas have deceived the world. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Christmas has its origin in the paganistic traditions of ancient Babylon, beginning with the birth of Nimrod on December 25th. As an enemy of God, Nimrod rebelled against the teachings of Almighty God Allah and sought to lead the white man in the worship of idols. After Nimrod's death, his so-called wife propagated the evil doctrine of survival of Nimrod as a spirit. She claimed a full-grown evergreen tree sprang up overnight, symbolizing the springing forth unto new life of the dead Nimrod. So that's the message. With one of his students or one of his followers, Sister Anna Kareem, teaching in the college, she letting the young brothers and sisters know. First, she let them to know that Jesus was not born on the 25th day of December. Then she break down the fact that Nimrod was a wicked ruler over the white man. Nimrod was an enemy of Allah. He was the one who taught the white man to worship idols. Then she went on to tell them how Nimrod's wife is the one who originated the lie. That Nimrod's spirit came alive in the evergreen tree. This why on Christmas they have the evergreen tree. That's the tree that you decorate and put all the stuff on, is the evergreen tree. That started with Nimrod's wife after his death. She lied to the people and said that he died, but his spirit came up in this evergreen tree. So that's why you have Christmas trees, the evergreen tree. Then she goes on. She says Nimrod is allegedly to have visited the evergreen tree under which gifts were placed. Thus we have the spirit of a dead man celebrated each year under various titles around the world. She says the false concept of a holy child and mother is further perpetuated in the Catholic Church, which has always endeavored to serve as a symbol of the last words of God. So now she breaking down for the black man. this holy mother with child. The black man did not know this before the message. Susanna wasn't competing with black Hebrew Israelites and all these conscious people. She by herself in Tuskegee telling the black man about Christmas. She wasn't bumping into old Abba Bivens. Abba Bivens wasn't on the sideline with his microphones and his speakers teaching the black man. She wasn't bumping into him. She wasn't bumping into IUIC. She was in Tuskegee all by herself with other followers of the message. So she goes on to say, she says the so-called Christmas season has become synonymous with commercialization. All types of liquor, merchandise, and food are sold in order to gain massive profits while this spirited occasion prevails. In all of the major newspapers in the country, as well as here in Tuskegee, advertisements attractively worded beckon the black man to come and buy divinely prohibited flesh of pigs and hogs. During recent years, discoveries by medical professions have brought to light reasons why Almighty God Allah condemned the hog as unfit for food. Look at all this that this sister, she ain't no minister, she ain't no captain, she just a believer. In Tuskegee, breaking down all this about Christmas. Yes, sir. She done told you about Nimrod. She told you about Nimrod's wife. She told you about the evergreen tree. She told you about the commercialization and the alcohol and the hog. Now she about to get into how the hog is divinely prohibited. She wasn't bumping into old Abba Bivens. She wasn't bumping into old Yaquab and Bustop Bishop. She was all by herself with other followers of the message. So she goes on to say, it says, of these flesh shall ye not eat. That comes from Leviticus 11 and 8. Stop right there. Because now that Bustop Bishop, because we got to show this hypocrite too. Now that Bustop Bishop done teamed up with this hypocrite Louis Eugene, because Louis Eugene in his reign, because he been reigning over the Nation of Islam since 1978, or whenever this hypocrite left Wallace. In his reign, he done made cotton candy soft, FOI. That's what he has contributed to the history of the Nation of Islam. Cotton candy soft. This generation has produced the softest FOI you ever would see in the history of the Nation of Islam. It don't even bother us that this man came almost 30 plus years after the message. It don't make us no difference. It don't bother us that Bustop Bishop taking the teachings of the messenger, adding it to his thing. It don't bother us. It don't bother us at all. But the messenger taught us. He said that a FOI's sole purpose is to deliver the 17 million to the land. That's right. Because the one thing that I've noticed, I used to talk about Bustop Bishop and them so much in the beginning because I thought that Muslims just didn't know. To be honest, them years ago, when I first started talking about Bustop, I felt like Muslims can't know about Bustop and them. So I used to talk about Bustop and them, talk about them. Then I started realizing Muslims do know about them. It's just they don't care. That's what I realized. So now I'm at the point. I done realized through experience, you ain't gonna change how a person feel, what they think, Once they done accepted Islam and whatever they want to do, that's already what they done made up in their mind. The messenger had said when I was listening to him once, he was talking to his ladies. He said, you always got to be after the new ones. Because you can't change these Muslims that already accept. If they don't care by now, they ain't gonna care. Ain't nothing I'm gonna say about Bus Stop Bishop that's gonna make them care. They don't care. So I say this for the new ones. I just wish I lived to see the new ones fight like they was fighting with the messenger. That'll be my reward. But whether I see it or not, it's my duty to say it. But that would be a reward. To be able to be with the young ones, even if I'm on the cane, be with them brothers like get them. Get them. All that hard work paid off. Just to see them brothers go and just wreak havoc on Bus Stop Bishop. So we have this hypocrite Louis Eugene. He done completely killed the fight in Muslims. Totally destroyed our fighting spirit. This hypocrite make you think that it's okay for other people to steal the teachings of the messenger and add it to their thing. It's all right for you to take even Christmas. Because when you see Sister Anna Kareem talk about Christmas, she say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. Because the thing that you will find with Bus Stop Bishop, when they talking about how pagan Christmas is, they don't say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. They get these books that talk about Christmas being pagan. Because they want to act like we ain't getting it from the messenger. This book say. But the messenger taught us. We live in the dawn of a new day. He said, and if we want to seek our place in this new day, we must have a God. Yes, sir. He said, God or Allah always raises a guide for those in that new day. He always do. Yes. So it don't make a difference. Because even now, you got some brothers who these scientists, they done found in these old books in the 1800s where it talks about some of the actual facts. So they say this is where Master Farad Muhammad got our actual facts from. Because this white man scientist in 18 such and such, and this white man in 17 this said that it's 196,900,000. That's for the hypocrites. Because the messenger said, the truth has been made known. He said the truth that he teach has been kept a secret among the white man. He didn't say that this is the first time or this truth just not coming. He said it's been kept a secret for trillions of years. Yes. The true knowledge of God, the true knowledge of the devil has been hidden for 6,000 years. Yes. So I want all the believers to know, even if you find a book that was written in the 1700s that got all the actual facts, questions and answers, that still, God didn't raise them up as a guide for you in this new day. He didn't give them the teachings to unite the black man. He gave it to the messenger. So it makes no difference if you get a book written by a white man in 1800s that's telling you that Christmas is pagan. You was a half-dead nigga in America. Didn't know nothing until God's messenger taught you about Christmas. So the messenger said, tell the people where you got it from. Don't make the people think you got it from yourself. That's right. This what these fakes love to do. I ain't gonna say Elijah Muhammad talk. I'm gonna get this book. that say Christmas pagan, and I'm going to say the same thing Elijah Muhammad was saying that we wasn't saying, but I'm going to act like I got it from this book. No. So let's go on even further with Anna Kareem. She goes on to say, she says, of their flesh shall ye not eat. That was the point I was trying to make. Bust our bishop now, because of this hypocrite has completely hijacked the Bible. They tell the black man now that the Bible was written by Israelites for Israelites. So when you have Sister Anna Kareem teaching the black man about how the Bible talks about not eating hard, the bus stops make it seem like that's in our book. Israelites wrote it. You know, the Muslims using our book. They got that from us because our book talking about how not to eat hard. Prophet Muhammad came 600 years after Jesus. And when Prophet Muhammad came, he copied what our book said. Farrakhan let them get away with that. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. He said Jesus was the last prophet sent to the Jews. That's what we got to remember. He told us that all prophets was Muslims. That's right. He said the first part of Jesus' history, he tried to convert the Jews. Then Jesus realized he couldn't convert them because he learned about their history. So that's why Jesus told them the truth is not in you. Jesus told them you are of your father the devil, and the lust of your fathers ye will do. Yes, sir. So the messenger taught us. He said Israel represents the whole white race. He said Islam was presented to the Jew, but the Jew rejected. Islam is not a religion of the Jew. Islam was offered to the Jew when Jesus came on the scene. And it's very important for us to know Jesus was the last. Why the last? Why he wasn't just one of the prophets? Why was Jesus the last? Because the Holy Quran talks about exceeding the limits. The messenger said that when Jesus came on the scene, he was warning the Jews that if they did not accept the fact of their coming destruction, Allah was going to bring it on them in a day when they least expect. The messenger didn't say that Jesus came to save the Jew. He said Jesus came to tell them to accept their destruction. That's what Jesus came to tell a Jew. But they rejected Jesus. They rejected Moses. The messenger said between Moses and Jesus there were many minor prophets. He said there were also many wicked rulers. So by the time Jesus came on the scene, Jesus was the last straw for the Jew. Because the messenger said, Moses taught Islam. Moses didn't teach Judaism. He said Moses taught Islam. He said, but the no good Israelite Jew. He said they rejected Moses. So they added paganism to what Moses taught, and they called it Judaism. Yes. So the messenger said another devil came. Added more paganism to Islam, not adding paganism to Judaism. Because Judaism is paganism that's added to Islam. So the white man added more paganism to Islam and called it Catholicism. He added more paganism to Islam and called it Christianity. That's how it goes. Yes, sir. Praise due to Allah. All the prophets was Muslims. Every last one of them.
Because another thing that you must remember, when Bus Stop Bishop this jive turkey, I notice when he be on the sidewalk with Muslims, one of the ways they get you is they say Muhammad came 600 years after Jesus. That stumped Muslims. Because a lot of Muslims don't study the teachings of the messenger. So when this fake try to make you think Islam is some new religion, they say, oh, Muhammad came 600 years after Jesus. The messenger taught us Jesus came 2,000 years after Moses. Yes. Moses was the first one sent into the caves and hillsides of Europe to the white race. Right. It was Moses. He was the one who civilized them. Because the Holy Quran, the Gospels of Jesus, and the Torah all verify the truth that's in all three. Because the first revelation to Moses was called the Torah. The messenger said it was one book. There is no such thing as the 5 books of Moses. That's what the Jews come up with. But the messenger taught us that Moses' revelation was called the Torah. Yes. The Torah was one book. Then the Jews started tampering with it. Now you got 5 books of Moses, they don't know who wrote. So then Jesus came on the scene. Because the Jews had tampered with the Torah so much, then you had Nimrod, so now here comes Jesus. Jesus had the gospel. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the gospel was one book. Not 4 books, one book. Showing you how all the prophets was Muslims. But the Jews rejected them. So they always added lies to what the prophets said. Jesus come with one book called the gospel. They say the gospel according to Matthew. Right, that's right. The gospel according to Luke. Teach, Brother Minister. The gospel according to Mark. Because they rejected Jesus. Yes. They rejected Islam. So they came up with books written by themselves, trying to make the people think that they God's chosen people. In a sense, that's true. The Israelites are God's chosen people. But we need to ask, what God? Right. Messages say it's 2 gods on the scene today. One of those guys' name is Jakub. That's him, brother. The other guy's name is Master Farad Muhammad. The messenger told us that when Yakub was wrestling with an angel, he said Yakub was robbing an angel. So he said that Yakub told the angel, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. So the messenger told us that Israel is not a good name. He said Israel was the name that was given to Yakub. Not to represent Yakub alone, but to represent Yakub's new race of people on earth. So what does Israel mean? Israel means to fight with God. So just like they fought, Jesus said, "Ye of your father the devil." Who is he talking about? Yakub. Yes, sir. The white man's father is Yakub. That's right. He said, "Ye of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do." Yes, sir. What did their father do? Their father robbed the black man. Yes. They took everything the black man owned by force. So that name Israel was given to the white race to represent them as the most wicked race that ever lived on the planet Earth. Yes, sir. So the messenger said, Then Moses came to them. Moses civilized them. He said a lot of them only accepted Moses just to get out of the cave. The white man didn't sincerely accept Moses. The white man never had a nature to submit to God. So back in Old Testament Louis Farrakhan, because I do be listening to Old Testament Louis. Old Testament Louis, he got a speech or a lecture called A Man Like Moses. That lecture was given in 1965. He was going in on them Jews. He was teaching Israel like the messenger taught Israel. He wasn't talking this, the black man is the true children of Israel stuff he be talking now. He was talking that Elijah Muhammad Israel. Yeah. He said that the white race is so wicked and evil. He said they will not submit to the will of Allah. So he said when Moses gave them a law in the Bible, he said since they don't have a nature to submit to God, he said you got to make the white man afraid. He said that's why Moses told them, for those who break the law, stone them. Stone them to death. Stone them in front of all the rest of these devils. That was the way that they was going to keep them Jews in check. Because the Jews is not going to submit to Allah. Not at all. His nature fights against it. But when the man, any person is afraid of something, they going to kind of stay away. So he said that's why Moses' law was so hardcore. Because the white man is so wicked and evil. They just stone him in front of everybody. Let all the other devils watch like, oh, look how they stoning him. That was Old Testament Louis. So when you have in the Bible, we ain't using nothing from no Israelite. Israelites rejected the Bible. They rejected the Torah. They rejected the gospel. Then God raised up Muhammad. God raised up Muhammad among his people, the Arabs. This is another thing that bust stop Bishop try to use to deceive the black man. He be like, well, Prophet Muhammad is an Arab. He an Ishmaelite. Islam is an Arab religion. No, sir. Islam is the black man's religion. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that Master Farad Muhammad or Prophet Muhammad, his work in Mecca is a sign of the black man. Yes. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that Jesus' work in Palestine is a sign of the black man. That's right. Because the white race had 6,000 years to rule. Everything was put in signs and symbols. So even though all of the prophets are real life human beings, their life's work or the stories written about them complement the life of the messenger. Yes. When you read about Noah, Noah's life complements the messenger. Yes. When God told Noah to build an ark, because when we read the story and we see the ending of the story, we think if I was there with Noah, I would have believed in Noah myself. If you don't believe in the messenger, you wouldn't have believed in Noah. That's right. If you don't believe in the messenger, you wouldn't have believed in Lot. You wouldn't have believed in Abraham. You wouldn't have believed in Muhammad. You wouldn't have believed in none of them. Because the messenger's life complements all their life. The messenger had a message that everybody rejected. We rejected when the messenger taught us that the white man is a grafted race of people. We didn't believe that. We didn't believe that the white race is wicked by nature. We didn't believe that. We didn't believe that the hog is grafted from rat, cat, and dog. We didn't believe that. We didn't believe that God is a man. We didn't believe that a man is a divine supreme being. We didn't believe that all we see is made by the black man. We didn't believe that. We didn't believe that the black woman is the queen mother of civilization. We didn't believe that. We didn't believe that God came to us July 4th, 1930. We didn't believe that. We didn't believe that God raised a messenger in the mouth of the lion to resurrect 50 million black people in America. But when the messenger died, we all can see his beginning and his end. We can see how the messenger caught hell in the beginning. We can see how the messenger went on a run for 7 years. That's something that none of us would have did. But we saw the messenger do it. He sacrificed for what he taught. We saw him go to prison for 5 years for nothing. We saw him. We saw him stand strong for Islam when his son turned hypocrite. When his national representative turned hypocrite. When his grandson tried to kill him, he still stood strong. We saw his end. We saw the messenger say in 1961 in the Jet magazine, he said by 1970, he said 90% of the black man will be sympathetic to what I teach. Yes. We saw that. Yes. We saw the confidence. We saw the black men and women who was transformed. So after the death of the messenger, we being niggas, we don't want to sacrifice what the messenger sacrificed. We didn't want to accept him while he lived. So what we did is we take what he taught and add it to the same old nonsense we was believing before. That's the black man. They did the same thing to Moses. They did the same thing to Lot. They did it to David. All the prophets had hypocrites. Yes. They had those who wouldn't accept the prophet. They had the hypocrite raised up. Moses had Korah. Yes. Korah was a hypocrite like Farrakhan and old bus-stop bishop. He looking at Moses like who Moses think he is. Moses ain't no better than us. So he tried to take Moses' teachings and add it to some nonsense. God chose Moses. God say, I'm going to show everybody how I chose Moses by how I'm going to destroy Korah. Allah let Korah get 250 people to try to challenge Moses. Go read the history of Korah. Korah stepped to Moses. Korah stepped to Moses like he ain't never see, as the Bible say, him part the Red Sea. Like he never saw manna come from the sky that Moses was supposedly told God to give. Korah act like he ain't see none of that. So Korah stepped to Moses. It say God opened up the earth and swallowed up Korah and all his followers. Then you had Absalom. Absalom was a hypocrite. Yes. Like Farrakhan and bus-stop bishop. Yes. Just old hypocrite. Looking at David like who this nigga think he is. He acting like he never know. It was David who stepped to Goliath. Right. When all the rest of them was shaking in their boots. Right. But then when David gets success, who he think he is. So then old Absalom, messenger said, standing at the gate kissing hands. Yes, that's him. That's what this hypocrite Lewis doing. He is. He's standing at the gate with bus-stop bishop kissing his hand. Yes, sir. Messenger wasn't that kind. Messenger wouldn't have been kissing bus-stop bishop's hands. Messenger would have been whooping bus-stop bishops behind. That's what the messenger, that's why they make the oh, that was for that time. That was for that time. We ain't like that no more. So the messenger, being the messenger of God. God came July 4th, 1930 and chose for us a message. Yes, sir. Because this is the dawn of a new day. This is the day where God is fed up with the devil. Messenger say God loves us. He said he loved us so much that Allah will till 10 of the white man's best ones for every one of us that he killed. That's the message. But the messenger said, all of us who reject Allah, Master Farad Muhammad and his message, he said we will be pushed in a lake of fire alive with the devil. That's what the black man needs to understand. Because Noah taught for 150 years, same thing over and over and over again. People still didn't accept Noah. Moses taught. Moses died. Then Joshua came to pick up the same thing Moses was talking about. It didn't change because he was dead. The same thing Moses taught, Joshua taught. Same with the message. The messenger died. Messenger died in 1975. All of us is like Joshua. We got to pick up the same thing the messenger taught. Don't think it's strange that sometimes we got to search for what the messenger taught. This stuff we got of the messenger. We got to know it. This stuff didn't come easy. A lot of people go on the Muhammad Speaks website and take it for granted. You don't know what goes into getting you even the article of the message.
Yes.
Some of them papers, when it was first looked through, was raggedy old toe-down papers with ink stains all on them, ripped papers missing, to get the black man the truth. We don't even understand that. You don't even understand the price sometimes. People done paid on eBay to get some of them papers. You don't understand. But we don't want to make it seem like we catching all the hell and you ain't. I don't never want to make it seem. I know you catching hell too. We all catching hell. But the hell you catch hit a little different because you experiencing the hell. But I know you catching hell too. Just to let us know the messenger caught hell. But he stood strong on his post. So we got to stand strong. Even though we got all these hypocrites, we still got to stay on our post. We still got to say it like the messenger said. Even though he gone. Even though we may not get all the rewards and all the praise and all the, fanning us with putting grapes in our mouth. Because it ain't all of that in this work. I'm going to say that in my conclusion. I used to think, because I always wanted to be a minister when I became a Muslim. Even before, I used to want to be a preacher. But I thought when you become a minister, I thought it ain't none of that. It ain't none of that. You get more hate than you get love. It's more Muslims that hate that I talk about Bishop than like that I talk about him. Believe it or not. It's more people that hate that I talk about Farrakhan than like it. It's more people that hate that we keep saying what the messengers say than like it. Believe it or not. That's why it takes believers. It takes those who believe in the messenger, hard times or good times, friends and foes. Your belief in the messenger is your belief in the messenger. You got to be the kind of person that'll do it if you was all by yourself. That's a bitter pill. Because you might be by yourself. But you got to do it when it's 1,000 people like you by yourself. Because all of them ministers, when you look at them, when the messenger was thousands of people. Then Wallace come. Now you see you was by yourself. You got to do it like you by yourself.
Yes, sir.
You got to love the messenger like ain't nobody never gonna come. You got to love the messenger like I'm gonna live and I'm gonna die and I'm gonna be the only one. That's how you got to love the messenger.
That's right, brother.
You got to love him because he was the messenger and that alone.
Yes.
Not because what he teach make you look a certain kind of way. You got to believe it because you know it's right. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's reading words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful. Soul message day of judgment in which we now live. The alone that we serve and the alone seeks for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path. Path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors. Not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down. Nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served, worship or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.